Guys, so today we're going over infant choking. We've gone over some CPR and stuff like that. It's important with our infants that we understand what choking relief looks like. And once again, absolute advocate for hands-on practice. I meet too many nannies, too many babysitters, and too many other entities that are looking after infants or providing some form of instruction with infants or young children, and they still run under the COVID guidelines and stuff like that, and they're not actually getting very good quality or if any hands-on practice or training, and it's a shame. So let's step it up, take personal responsibility, seek out that education, get your hands on so that you actually know what it feels like to handle an infant mannequin and administer choking relief. So today we're going to be going over infant choking responsive. The 4 stages of choking, as I like to look at it, are coughing, right? We're not too concerned about somebody when they're coughing. It's just a normal everyday cough. It's not really piquing our interest like, hey, there might be a problem. Everyday cough, not a big deal. With our infants, with anybody, the second stage in choking, when I train choking relief first aid, is that we have a choke that's very forceful, that kind of catches our eye, catches our ear. We kind of look over and we see something like, hey, you all right, man? He's like, yeah, I'm okay. Right, obviously, the infants and babies can't speak typically for themselves, so we're going to look at that. It's going to kind of catch our ear. It's more of a forceful cough. We look over, maybe there's some more drooling coming out of the mouth. Maybe there's a little more force, and we see some panic look in their eyes, and they may be starting to turn red. At that stage, we don't want to do any pats on the backs. We don't want to do anything except maybe help them to sit forward. So we could sit them on our lap, obviously not choking them. We grab them by here or just supporting their chest, helping them kind of sit forward. Okay, supporting their body, sitting forward so that object can come out, the drool or vomit, formula, whatever else can come forward. So we still have our baby in stage 2, right? Forceful cough, we still hear air moving. Now, at some point, if it clears the airway, the baby's good, we're good, go on about your day. But we may move into the 3rd stage of choking, which is an actual obstruction of the airway. You're not going to hear any more coughing. You're not going to see, you're going to start to see a very panicked baby. And you're going to recognize that they're becoming much more red and possibly even blue. At this point, this is absolutely an emergency. You need to call 911 at this point, or direct somebody to call 911. If you have your speakerphone, put it on speaker. If not, start doing what we're going to do right now and move towards your speakerphone, towards your phone to initiate a 911 call on speaker. Okay. So they were coughing, weren't concerned, started to get more of a forceful cough with some drool, turning red. Now all of a sudden they stop coughing. We don't hear any more air movement. Now we know they're a true choking emergency. You've called 911, they're on the way, you gave your location. So what does choking relief with a responsive infant look like? We're gonna sweep our arm under the baby, right? Whether you do it this way, sweep under, grab them by the jaw, okay? We are not grabbing the baby by the throat, right? We're grabbing the baby by the jaw to support their head, right? So holding the baby forward, they stop breathing, we put our hand on their jaw. We're then gonna grab their leg and tuck their leg under our arm. So we're pinching their leg between our chest and our arm. Worst case scenario in the chaos of this and the stress of it, if we don't have their leg pinched, in worst case scenario, somehow slip and drop, we've got positive control of the baby. So holding him by the chin, okay, the jawline right here, leg is pinched. I'm gonna then lower the baby down at a downward angle to help that food come out. We're gonna do 5 forceful back blows between the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reach back, grab the leg, and either rotate the baby here, or we can, for practice purposes, and this is why it's so important to get hands-on practice, bring the baby out, slide our hand up the back to support the neck and the body, swing down to the next leg, and tuck them in, oops, don't hit their head, tuck them in right here. So now once again, I'm supporting the neck, supporting their back, okay? Supporting their leg. Worst case scenario, somehow they drop or slip, right? It's a very chaotic situation. If that happens, I have positive control, okay? Once again, they're angled down. Same thing as CPR we've gone over in previous videos. 2 fingers, center of the chest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, positive control in the abdomen, slide up, grab the leg. I'm over exaggerating this here. Slide the leg in. Positive control on the jawline. Leg is tucked in and tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just want to roll the baby over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Baby clears the object, starts crying, starts screaming, probably starts vomiting. We want to put the baby in recovery position, okay? Swing our arm underneath. We want positive control, okay, of the baby. Once again, I'm not holding the throat. At this point, the baby may be partially responsive, somewhat unresponsive as they're starting to breathe and come back. They're going to be blue. Having seen this in real life, it's going to be very intense, obviously. The baby may be very limp. We want to support their head, keep them somewhat rotated forward, somewhat downward if possible, okay? Help them clear that saliva, the drool, the vomit, anything else. Pay attention, because if we lift them up, rotate them on their back, they might aspirate or inhale the vomit and the spit, and at that point, they're going to start choking again. So as much as you want to look in the baby's face, probably console the baby, this is what's best for them, okay? Now the recovery position, if you had to, if they're fighting or getting up, you can hold the baby forward, right? If you were underarm baby giving back blows and it cleared out, you can just hold the baby like this. You could sit the baby up on your lap, hold the baby, give positive control of the baby. Last but not least, having worked with some of the finest firefighters and paramedics on the face of the earth, having seen some of the worst calls that the things that can happen to humans, sometimes people don't have a full big picture, right? A good 30,000 foot view, big picture view of what happens with choking. So with our babies, their trachea goes down and it bifurcates or branches off into both of our lungs, right? Now the left side is a little bit more of a sharper angle down. The right side is not as sharp of an angle. It's very common in a choking situation for food to get stuck in that right branch. If you relieve choking, right, we call 911. If you relieve choking, 911's still on the phone with you, you clear the airway, the baby starts breathing. 911 may ask you, do you still want 911 services? Absolutely you do, okay? I've heard 911 dispatch, and I've seen plenty of firefighters, paramedics say, hey, the baby's breathing, you're good, you don't need to go to the hospital, or you can drive the baby to the hospital yourself. Wrong, okay? Take the baby to the hospital, because what I've experienced professionally in helping children and infants who were choking, who were dead, who we cleared their airway and brought them back, was that they were absent lung sounds on the right. So maybe the EMS providers get the lung sounds and say it's clear. My opinion, get the baby checked. Worst case scenario, if somebody's telling you don't need 911, you don't need to go to the hospital, take the baby to the hospital so that you can have a proper chest x-ray if needed. You can have properly evaluated pulse oximetry and lung sounds done. So we pulse ox, check the oxygen level they're getting to their blood. We can have somebody evaluate lung sounds and provide the best possible care for the baby. Because the worst case scenario is somebody says, hey, whether it's a friend, a bystander, whoever it is, says, hey, we cleared the airway, we don't need 911, we don't need to go to the hospital. And they actually have an object stuck in the right branch going to their lung or somewhere else. And they cough something up and they start to choke again. Once again, I've seen this off duty, personally with my own family, not my own child, but somebody else's child in a pool. I've seen it professionally happen. So from experience, if you relieve choking in an infant, absolutely still go to the hospital. Stay strong, don't quit, and get your training, education, and equipment.